Right, everyone. Happy Halloween special. Right. So yeah, hopefully this should be a good video. I'll just warn you now, most of the video I probably won't be able to see your comments while I'm talking to the camera because of the nature of this kind of video, I'm going to need to talk to the camera between the clips and talk about the videos and stuff like that. Yeah, should be a good night. Later on, in about an hour, everyone's going out, so I'm going to be home alone for the rest of the evening. You know, for a bit there'll be people in, but later on they'll all be out. So yeah, I might be able to do a later video. We'll see what happens though. Just have to see what's going on. So yeah, sorry I didn't put no decorations up. You know, I just didn't have none. But I thought the videos will speak for themselves. So I think that's it. I spoke about everything I need to as far as I'm aware. But yeah, just be aware during the bits where I'm on camera, I won't be able to read the comments. But while the clips are playing, I will be able to play them. So we've got quite a few people joined in. I think there'll be around about... There should be around about an hour and a half footage. So maybe 2-hour video. We'll have to see, you know. It depends how long I talk between the videos, you know what I mean? But hopefully, I think it's going to be good. You know, obviously I've seen most of the clips I'm going to play tonight. Oh, and Jim is going to come on twice. So early on, I don't know when, I've not decided the exact order yet. Jim will come on at some point with a video he pre-recorded for me. And then later on, near the end of the evening, he's going to actually do a live video for us. So I've set this up so he can basically send me a live feed to StreamYard. You know, that's how it works anyway, you know what I mean? But he'll come on live on StreamYard, basically. And, yeah. So that should be pretty good. Yeah, and he's going to do a bit of a walk around. I know vaguely a bit. I won't tell you anyway, because it'll be, you know... But he's going to do a little bit of walk around an area he's been to before. So it should be quite interesting. So, I think that's it. If not, I'll just talk to you when I come back, alright? So, first video, I'm going to put you straight in with probably the longest video of this entire stream, which is by Bob, previously known as Bob the Metal Guy. So, yeah, down to you, Bob. See you lot in a minute, or in about 20.
Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Halloween, October 31st, 2018. I'm inspired to make this video because of Mike, WeaponCollector, in England, made a good video about ghost stories in his place. It's kind of comic, a little bit. This is a true story. And I'm going to start this off with, this is a true story. This is my Bible, this is my baptism Bible, and I do swear to God Almighty himself that I will tell you the truth, every bit of it I can. I am telling the truth. This is not a story, this is truth. All right, with that, okay, in 2004, I was divorced. I had 2 kids I was paying support on, and they lived with their mom. I had nowhere to go. My mom was over 80 years old, living alone in a nearby city from my sons, okay? So I asked my mom, can I stay in one of your bedrooms? She said she could. You know, it's fine, no problem. Mom was getting to the point to where she needed someone around her to help her, which was a real punch in the stomach when you have to swallow your pride and be over 40 years old and move back with your mom. You know, it sucked, but I did it for 6 years. I lived in a bedroom in that house. This was a brand new home. It was brand new. I worked with Mom and the contractor when they built this house. Brand new house, okay? So got Mom moved in there, and a few years later I got divorced and I had to move in and live in one of her bedrooms. It's a point of pride that, like I said, it sucked, but you know, you pay child support for 2 kids in Washington State. You'll understand what I'm talking about. You can't afford to live anywhere else. You know, you're going to live in your car maybe, but okay. So I moved into one of her. It was a 3-bedroom house. All the bedrooms and washer and dryer were upstairs. Okay, so here we go. This all started off kind of slowly and inconspicuously, and I had difficulty understanding what was going on at first. I'm going to give you a kind of a shitty floor plan of the place, but this is the bathroom that was upstairs. My bedroom was. This is the bedroom, the bathroom door. This doorway right here was my bedroom, and this doorway over here was my son's bedroom when they came to visit. Over here was a hall closet, and right here was my mom's bedroom. And these are the stairwell to go downstairs, okay? I'm sorry it's not a very good drawing, but that's all I've got to deal with. It all started kind of odd because I worked second shift and I would get home after midnight, and not too much went on during the day at first. But my wife was still living overseas. She's a Filipina, and we talked on Skype twice a day, every day for 4 years until we were able to finally get her. Get her over here and get married and all that. We had a 4-year delay because she was a single mom of 2. She was working in a city's engineering department, and then she got a promotion to a district administrator, which was, she was a boss of hundreds of city employees, very intelligent woman. And she was going to school, medical school, and she would not leave the Philippines and come to be with me until she graduated from medical school. That was the 4 year I had to wait, and I did. I waited for her. We're married now, been married for 10 years. So I would get home from work about midnight, 1 o'clock, and warm up something in the microwave, go upstairs to my bedroom, and talk to my wife every night, twice a day, before work and after work for 4 years. And while we were talking, I would hear stuff outside my bedroom door, like footsteps occasionally. Okay? Now, religiously and faithfully, as soon as I got home, I would open up my mom's bedroom door, which was right here, and look in on her. And every night, her cat slept on her bed, and her cat would poke its head outside of her bedroom door because she always left the door open about that much, and check to see who it was, and Millie would jump back on the bed with Mom. Millie never left Mom's side in that house, never. So wife and I would be talking on Skype, and I'd hear, it started off with footsteps outside of the door in going down the hallway, right? You know, this is the hallway upstairs, going down the hallway, sometimes coming up from upstairs and then going down the hallway. And as time went on, the footsteps kept getting louder to the point to where I'd grab my .45 and I'd go out in the hallway and look. And there's nobody in the house. There's no sign of forced, nothing. It got more aggressive as time went on. Since the upstairs bathroom was right on, sharing the same wall with my bedroom, occasionally a water faucet in there would turn on, and I would walk past there to go into my bedroom as soon as I got home and to check on Mom. I didn't do it, and every time that happened, I would go check on Mom, and she's still sound asleep. And occasionally the water faucets would be turned on before I got home. And I would talk to my mom in the morning after I get her some breakfast, you know, asking her, did you turn on the water faucets? And she swears, no, she didn't. And the chances of Mom getting up, turning on a water faucet, and then going back to bed and going to sleep, no. Because once Mom fell asleep, she stayed asleep, because if she woke up, she was up for the rest of the night. When you get old, it's like that. That continued going on until it even went into her master bathroom, and it would turn water faucets on in the master bathroom. Occasionally, it would turn on a water faucet downstairs in the kitchen or in the bathroom downstairs. I found both of those being turned on and left on coming home from work and in the middle of the night. Now, the footsteps over the years kept getting louder and louder and louder and more frequently. I'm talking about my wife being overseas and she and I talking on Skype. That has a big part of this, because one night I was at home. I was sitting there eating dinner talking to her on Skype, and my bedroom door flew open. And I had put a locking doorknob on that because my brother and sister were thieves. I couldn't allow them in my bedroom. Bedroom door flew open. My wife's talking to me on Skype. When I turned around and looked, and I just said, what the fuck is that? So I walked over and I closed the door, and I checked, the doorknob's still locked, but that door came open. I'm not talking about open, I'm talking about open big enough for a man to walk through. So I began really paying attention then. I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but I had a good idea there was some kind of a spirit in the house, and he wasn't too friendly because I could feel a cold blast of air, especially in the bedroom where my sons would come for visitation, right? I would close the door when I went to work. I'd come home, it was open. Or I'd close the door when I would come home from work, and I'd get up later and the door is open, etc. Or the light would be on in there. I remember when I got bunk beds and put them in that spare room for my kids to sleep on when they came over for the weekend. And the first couple of weekends, the boys would sleep in there. And then nearly always my son Mark would come out of that room in the middle of the night and he'd crawl into bed with me. And I'm cool with that. If he wants to sleep with me and feel safer, I'm good with that. There was no questions asked. Just come on, bud, get in here. And then after a while, my son Jacob would do the same thing. And a few weekends later after that, neither one of them would sleep in that bedroom at all. They never said why until much, much later. Okay. Much, much later, it got even more powerful because I found out later that it would turn on the light inside that bedroom while they were in there. It was doing that. It was doing that more and more frequently. And the door, when they were in there trying to sleep, the door would fly open on them. This is the closet door, the hall closet door. That's very important with this story. I remember coming home from work, and that closet door would be closed, and I'd come out in the hallway to go downstairs to get something to eat or whatever I needed to do, and that door would be open a little bit. And it got more and more aggressive because the door would be open, and sometimes there'd be a pillow or a blanket pulled down on the floor in the hallway. So as soon as I saw that, I would go check on Mom, no matter what time of night it was. I'd go open the door, see if she's covered, see if she's cold. I knew her bedding because I did all the washing of her sheets and blankets. I washed all of her clothes. I had to take up more and more of my time to take care of her because she was getting more and more elderly. Because this is over the course of several years. The more older she got, the more helpless she became. But I remember one of the most profound times about that hallway closet was I got home from work. Everything seemed normal. Nothing was out of the unusual. Slept, got up in the morning, went downstairs, made my mom breakfast, and I came back upstairs, and that hallway closet was wide open, and I mean every pillow, sheet, blanket, everything was pulled out, thrown all the way down the hallway. Mom's still downstairs eating her breakfast. I just walked past that closet 30 minutes ago. There's nobody upstairs. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is really starting to scare the shit out of me. I didn't know what to do. And I knew, okay, there's something bad in this house. I didn't know what to do. The internet was in its infancy way back then. There wasn't much information out there about spirits or demons or whatever. So, okay, everything was thrown out all down the hallway. And know that we don't have rats. It was a brand new house. There was no vermin in that place. And I saw that one weekend, and I finally mentioned it to my sons about that hallway closet. And my son said, Dad, more than once I saw that hallway closet open and close while I'm standing in the hallway. And why didn't you guys tell me? why didn't you guys say something? So I got them both sit down. I said, well, what is going on? What are you seeing? And apparently in their bedroom, there was a hallway closet going on, and in their bedroom was the access door to the attic. And that night that my oldest son said he's no longer going to sleep in that bedroom was the night that he saw that hatchway open up all by itself and then close, and then the light came on and he boogied. He's out. Kids are afraid to talk about stuff like that. When I can't blame them. But okay, as the years progressed, Mom got grievously ill, and I had to take her down to ICU because she got a kidney infection, and she's diabetic, which is dangerous. So Mom came home from the hospital weeks later, and she's very feeble. So I moved her bed downstairs because she no longer was able to climb the stairs by herself. And I installed DVR and cameras in the house, and some cameras outside. I had to put driveway alarms up because she was getting more and more feeble, and her mind was starting to slip. Her mind was pretty clear back when the closet door and all that stuff was going on, and the sinks coming on. It wasn't her Alzheimer's. She wasn't doing it. So I set up cameras. These were day and night cameras in the house. And that's when I really started seeing what was happening. It's freaky. It's spooky because those day and night cameras show up everything. I had cameras downstairs and one upstairs in the hallway. I remember before I would hear when I finally had a camera upstairs, I would see like a swirling of orbs happening on the stairwell. It was lighting. And I could see Mom downstairs. She's in her bed. There's nobody in the house but us, okay? And I'd see a large orb come down the hallway and go into the spare bedroom. And then by this time, I'm already got my wife and her 2 kids living in that same house. And we're married, and Jill was in the scary bedroom. I could see that big orb come past the bedroom, go into her door, and she never said shit about what was going on, but she did later. Now, with those orbs, they became really active. I remember seeing swirlings of lights in the living room, right next to my mom's bed, because she had to sleep in the bed in the living room. And I'm sitting there watching this on the surveillance cameras because we had to watch her. And it got more and more and more creepy because I remember one night something came through the front door of the house. It was an orb. And it wasn't a fly. It's not a moth. You can tell. Went right through the front door, and it went over to my mom's bed, and it paused over top of her, and then went directly into her head. And she moved like this. Now, Mom had Alzheimer's, so I couldn't really credibly take what she was saying as truth because her mind was going. But she would say in the morning that her aunts and uncles and her brother would come in the middle of the night and visit her. And when I started seeing all that stuff on the cameras, I believe her. That there's some spirits were coming in the house, right through the walls and coming into the house. And I don't know if they were her brother and sister. I don't know. But 6 years in a haunted house. As soon as Mom passed away, we put that house up for sale shortly after that, as soon as we could afford to leave. We sold that place and got out of there, and that was over 10 years ago. I don't know. Whatever it was that was scaring the kids in that spare bedroom, because Jill said the same thing as my sons did later after we left that house, because I would come to wake her up for school, and she would have stuff piled up against the door to jam that door shut, of her bedroom door. The same thing was happening to her, but she wouldn't talk about it. Light coming on, door flying open, etc., etc. If she had told me, I would have made arrangements for her to sleep downstairs, or, I don't know. I really don't have an end point, but the spirits, yeah, I believe in them. I do. Demons, yeah, I'm sure they're there because there is a God, and I believe there is a God. But that's in a nutshell 6 years of living in a haunted house. I drive past that place once in a while, and I don't ever want to go back in there again. Oh, that's my Halloween ghost story, but it's true. It's not made up. Thank you for watching. Leave any questions if you have any. I'll try to answer them for you. Take care.
Thank you for that, Bob. Now, I've heard that event before. Because Bob sent me that a few years ago, actually, originally, and I never got time to put it into last year's Halloween video. And in all honesty, that sounds fucking terrifying. I don't know if I could live like that. I suppose if it happens to you gradually, you sort of get used to it. But when you hear that kind of thing said in a story, you know, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? That'd be, yeah. Well, I don't know what to say, Bob. That's, you know what I mean? That's a hell of a thing to go through, really. Yeah, it must play with your mental state, I suppose. I suppose some people that really could. You know what I mean? Yeah, thank you for that, Bob. I really appreciate that. And because, you know, that's been about 2 years in the waiting to get that video on to here. Because I always thought that was a really genuine, excellent, well, not story, because it's a real thing. But you know what I mean? Yeah, true life event. Thank you for that. Right, so we're going to go on to Timbo66 now, and then an advert. So I'll now pass you over to Timbo, and then be prepared for an advert to come on after.
So my story, I was out in the garden one night because I used to do a bit of astronomy, and it's something I used to really like. Anyway, I was out with the telescope. Obviously it's dark. I'm looking at the moon, thinking, oh, this is great. And suddenly I heard this, that noise that the Predator made in the Predator films, the Schwarzenegger films. And I thought, that's a bit odd, isn't it? I wonder what that is. I previously heard a hedgehog in the undergrowth, and it makes a noise, it makes you think like there's a bear with a gun coming out. It's going to go wipe out humanity. It was such an angry noise, and that was quite frightening. Anyway, a couple of minutes later, right, what is that? And then it went quiet for a while. And then third time. Right, I really do not like this. I'm quite rational. I don't believe in ghosts and nothing like that, but this is really freaking on. Hang on a minute. Right, I mean, I went in the back door and I'm looking out the doorway. What is? Come on, what's that? And nothing. Silence. I was thinking, by now my imagination just gone into absolute overdrive, and I'm thinking, perhaps whatever it is watching me, it's seen me go in. Perhaps it's seen me tooled up. Is it just waiting? And I'm getting really quite sort of like, but you know, I can just lock. But if I lock the door, I might get in. What's going to happen? It's going to wait till I'm asleep, and it's going to come murder me and Magda. You know, and imagination just gone massively into overdrive. And it happens again. I'm like, wow, what's that? And I'm sort of looking out, really now hyper alert, looking out. And then I see it. There's a little wind blowing. And in the neighbour's back garden, they've got one of these yucca plants, these plants with these really long, hard leaves, and they're just tapping together every time the wind blows. Like that. And there's a few of them. And I just thought, oh, that's what it was. And instead of thinking, you bleeding idiot, you don't believe in this, I was just like, oh, thank goodness for that. But at the time, I was properly, so I was ready. I was genuinely thinking somebody's going to, this heap of blood and guts on the floor. And that was really, really frightened me.
Thank you for that, Timbo. Nice one. I didn't play the ads. I'm going to play it afterwards because I thought it might be a bit rude of me if I keep playing ads afterwards videos and not talking about them. If you know, as long as yeah. So yeah, love it, Tim. But yeah, that's typical of a lot of sort of people's paranormal events in it, sort of thing. Yeah, I like that though. I've had a few things like that. Yeah, thank you, Timbo. I appreciate that. So I'll put a quick ad on now, and then I'll come back.
Absolutely phenomenal deal we have for you. Forecast is one of the top-selling mugs ever. Straight from the WC collection. Amazing nuances of color. One of a kind. Left or right-handed. This is a one-of-a-kind mug only sold at the WC merch store. Now at only £9.99. Worth at least £199. Never burn your mouth again. Keeps hot drinks hot, and cold drinks cold. Do you like water? This mug even makes plain water taste better. It's unbelievable. Do not miss out on this absolutely stunning piece. Can hold water, tea, coffee, all liquids. Not piss, or diarrhea though, so don't even try it. Available worldwide in all the colors. £9.99. Get in early. These are selling out like Viagra at an old folks' home. Get yours now. Link is in the description. We have 1 million of these mugs in stock right now. Do not miss out.
My name is Don. I bought this mug to support Weapon Collector, but it actually made me the coolest person in my village. Women are all over me now. I'm like sex on legs to them after buying that mug. It's fucking insane. I highly recommend it. Do not miss out, it will change your life.
Get your bloody merchandise in. Link in the description. There'll be a few ads tonight. That's just one of many that I've made specifically for this long live stream. So I think we'll have Slingshot Warrior up next. Again, thanks for joining in, Slingshot. I appreciate it. I'm glad you had a nice holiday, and I'm glad you managed to actually get a video in, because I know you did the shooting competition, but that one well, fucked up basically, didn't it? But I'll still be able to include it in it, I reckon. So here's Slingshot Warrior.
Hello, this is Slingshot Warrior. I'm still in South Carolina. I'm in downtown Greenville, and in the spirit of Halloween, we are actually in a haunted cemetery. More to come.
The cemetery began as a family-owned plot of land in the 1700s to be used as a grave site later on, and then eventually, over the many centuries, everything was added. You'll find unknown Confederate soldiers' graves. You dig a little deeper, you may stumble across the grave of Teddy Elephant, which is the person whose grave we are currently present. Here, somewhere in the cemetery park, is the grave of Dr. Robinson. Yes, Dr. Robinson.
Is this the haunted hotel?
Oh yeah.
Hello, this is Slingshot Warrior, and I'm in front of the Westin Hotel that has a lot of haunted activity. Whoa, this place has a history. You know what I mean? Two men were, one man was shot and killed right in front of this hotel. This was once for a brief time it was a retirement home. It's been a retirement home and mostly hotel, and a lot of famous people have been here. But yeah, this place is supposed to be the most haunted place in Greenville. A lot of paranormal activity, a lot of seeing old men, phased in and out of reality, I guess, and an old man. This place is a very haunted place, one of the most haunted places in Greenville, and it does look very imposing. More to come.
This particular spot right here has seen a lot of activity from early before the Civil War to its construction in the 1950s when the highways were being built. A lot of hotels lost business because of motels on the side of the highway, and so they had to shut down. And from that time until 1987, it was an old folks home. So from 1987 to 2000, when it was renovated and opened up as a hotel, it was vacant. So not only was this a nursing home filled with a bunch of retirees and people who passed away, but it had a lot of vandals. It was renovated bought out in 1997, renovated, and it opened up in 2000. And we know it today as the Westin Poinsett.
Nice one, mate. Thank you for that. Cheers, Slingshot. So yeah, that was interesting. I wonder if that, while I was watching that, I did think, I wonder if that place has been in any films and that. Has it? I don't know. Seems like the kind of place that would probably be featured in films anyway, doesn't it? But yeah, very interesting place. So what was I going to do now? Sorry, I've written some of this down so I can try and remember what I'm going to... Ah, yes. So, the next set of footage will be a series of shorter videos. I've been sent in a few short videos of basically CCTV and similar things. So, what I'll do, for the very short ones, I'll probably show a normal length version of it and then a slowed down version so you can see what's going on. I think there's three or four little clips now of various CCTV from different people, and I'll put the names down. There may be one I can't remember, but they are from CW Outdoors, Carl, Christopher's Wild Adventures, and SAK 94. And there may be another one that I'm missing, but you'll see next anyway. Right, CCTV footage now.
Just looking at CCTV and found this bizarre ball of light in the front entrance to the building. Now, that's outside the doors, nothing there. That's inside the doors. And it just seems to be like a ball of light that's changing shape and moving about. If you look in the reflection, just about, point my finger, just about there, looks like a face or something reflecting from the inside. It's not outside. And that thing, it's, look at it moving about. What the chuff is that? What the hell is that? A weird ball of energy at the front doors.
Right. Yeah, CCTV. I'll be honest, Carl and Chris, I have literally no idea what the fuck was in those videos. Very bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say about that. I haven't got a fucking clue what that is. Could be multiple things in both of those. Yeah, very difficult to say. And Stu, nice one, Stu. I like that. That was excellent. Yes, I hope. Yeah, I hope no one's after you. I don't know what you've captured there. Right, so I think because I've left it long enough, we're going to put on Jim's now, because I was going to put Jim's on earlier. It's, you know, as I say, it's trying to decide when you're going to put these videos on. So I've got a sort of thing written down. As long as I put them on in a sort of certain schedule, it should work fine. So, yeah, Jim M's first video, not the live video. The live one will be coming later. Right, that you, Jim.
Mr. Who, sorry? No, I'm not Mr. Jones. I think you've got the wrong number. You'd like to talk to me about my road accident? I've not had a road accident, and I'm not Mr. Jones. I'm not Mr. Jones. You're speaking to the wrong person. No, I haven't had a road accident. Oh, fuck off. Wasting my fucking time. Can't believe I just pulled over for that. Got another one. What's that you say? Microsoft Windows. Okay, yeah. You've detected a what on my Windows account? Okay, that's interesting. I don't own a computer. Okay, you're from where? Microsoft? Where are you calling from? Yeah, I know Microsoft. You just said Microsoft, but you don't sound like you're from Silicon Valley. India. Oh, your name's Joe. Joe Hanrahan. Oh, you're from Orlando. Okay. Off your fuck, mate. Later. Insurance? No, I'm not interested, mate. Biggest scam going. Sky TV? No, I don't watch TV. Bye. Car finance? A brand new car? What, $500 a month? Fuck off! I'm going to have to do something about this. I'll get my bits together. See you in a bit. Call centres near me. Bingo. I'll tell you what. You'd be surprised at just how hard work it is. Slaughtering 60 call centre employees. Anyway, that's I've got it everywhere, look, I'm in a right mess. That's blown out a few cobwebs, and it's carried out my little annual Halloween good deed. Each year, once a year, I do something like this. Last year I took a trip down to the local estate agents. I asked them to justify their existence, and they couldn't, so they were slaughtered. This year, I've kind of not just killed 60 call centre workers, I've also killed 2 birds with 1 stone, because hopefully that's going to be a few less nuisance calls for all of us. I feel justified in having done my bit for society. I wanted to take things a little bit further than usual this year. What with having an allotment, keeping chickens, you know, doing a bit of foraging, enjoying the occasional wood pigeon and whatnot. I didn't want to let all that meat go to waste, so I wouldn't want anybody thinking, you know, when you start eating them, you kind of put yourself in the serial killer category a little bit, don't you? But I don't want people to think anything like that, but I just didn't want it to go to waste, so I've got a few bags down here. I've taken buttocks, thighs, cheeks, tongues, tits. Apparently they all taste quite good. So I'll sort those out in the kitchen probably tomorrow, and then I'll stick those in the freezer for the winter. The Anglo Arms bolo machete did reasonably well. but it's a big thick heavy blade, you see. It's quite a lump of metal. And what I found was it was getting stuck in people's collarbones and people's spines. Quite often I'd have to wrench it out before I could continue, you know, with my slaughter. It had its place, it did a lot of bone crunching, but it was also getting stuck in them, which was a bit of an inconvenience. The Tramontina, however, that wasn't getting stuck in people's bones. That was taking limbs clean off, straight dropping to the floor, you know. I found you had to get your angle right, but if you get your angle right, it was straight through a limb. And it got at least 3/4 of the way through the security guard's head, and he was one fat bastard. So this is a good little tool. I'm very pleased with that. It passes its initial test there. Police turned up, as they always have to. I should explain, actually, as this is an annual occurrence, a Halloween special, as it were. The police have to do their duty. They have to turn up when the public starts seeing the blood flying out the windows and all that sort of thing. It creates a bit of a tension. They have to turn up and see what's going on, just to make sure it's not a terrorist incident or something. But I know them now, and they know me. Each year they turn up and they congratulate me on my choice every year. You know, they loved it when I did the estate agents. They were just as happy this year when I did the call centre. We get some rich pickings. Last year we did really well, actually, because it was an estate agents. They're rich fuckers, aren't they? So we went through the pockets of the senior staff there, and I got myself a brand new Audi. A couple of the police officers had a couple of Land Rovers, you know, so we did quite well out of that one. This call centre, it wasn't really rich pickings. I got a few bits and pieces, you know. We had all their gold teeth and their rings and any cash that they had in their wallets, you know. Didn't amount to much, but yeah, it was a little bit of something. I might give it to charity, you never know, because it's all about community, isn't it? I really enjoyed that. Cleared a bit of scum off the streets, and to boot, I got myself a freezer full of long pig. Bonus. Anyway, let's get these cleaned up and talk about ghosts. If you ask me, ghosts definitely exist. I believe in ghosts, but not. I don't believe in the spirits of dead people wandering around and telling us where their life savings are hidden. People see ghosts, so in that sense they exist. People see them, they are a thing. Whether they're a physical thing or not doesn't really matter. They do exist, and they've had a huge influence on our culture and society and everything for a very long time. But it's more likely that, I mean, we know shit about science, don't we? We know nothing about science, really. We live in a little three-dimensional plane of existence, and there's a hell of a lot of other shit going on that we can't perceive. So I reckon maybe some sort of plausible explanations for it might be, well, one of them, for example, is subsonic waves. If you play subsonic waves at people, they can induce feelings of dread, they can induce hallucinations. And these subsonic waves do occur in places like caves and cellars and spooky dark underground places. You'll get these subsonic waves going on. And haunted tunnels and places like that where they're next to maybe an underground line, a metro line or something like that. That can really induce some sort of freaky experiences in people in adjacent tunnels and cellars. And even geology is very capable of producing subsonic noises, rocks grinding against each other, you know, tectonic movements and that sort of thing. It can all produce the subsonic waves, which will in turn make people feel and think they're seeing things which aren't really there. Although it is very real to them, it is a physical sensation, and they do, to their own eyes, to their own perception, see something standing in front of them. Who's heard of brown noise, or the brown wave? I think is the other way of referring to it. I don't know if it was the Americans or the Russians. I think it was the Americans. back in the 50s or the 60s, they were experimenting, the military. They were experimenting with this particular wave that, if played through enormous speakers at an amassed army in front of you, will make every single one of them shit their pants. Quite literally just, you know, curl up on the floor with explosive diarrhea, like Slingshot Warrior. Time slips are the other one. I don't know if you've heard of time slips. It's where people seem to experience a situation where they're suddenly transported. I've not heard of it happening in the future. I've not heard of people being transported forward in time, but people being transported back in time. Apparently so to them, anyway. There are various stories. There's quite a commonly heard one about a British couple who were on holiday, and they went and visited this quaint little village somewhere. And as they passed through the village, they noticed that there was lots of very old classic cars parked around, and the whole place was, I think I'm remembering this right, the whole place was in bloom. There was floral displays everywhere you turned, and there was a big sign in the middle that said, Village in Bloom of the Year or whatever. And they walked through this village and they saw a post office, for example, and a hotel and blah blah blah. And they went on and continued their day and back to their own hotel in another town. And then I think a day or two later they thought, oh, let's go back and see that place. And they went back and it had completely changed. The cars weren't old classics anymore. There wasn't all these floral displays everywhere. They couldn't understand what was going on, and the post office had gone, the hotel wasn't a hotel anymore. So they started chatting to people and saying, you know, explaining that they'd been there a couple of days before and seen all this going on. Asked if they knew what was going on. And people said, well, no, we did have the floral contest, but that was 30 years ago or something, 40 years ago. And very similar stories have happened elsewhere, all around the country, probably all around the world. I know of a few British ones. There are military accounts as well, where pilots have suddenly found themselves in an unrecognisable landscape where there should be a city or whatever, and it's not. It's just a couple of farms. These sort of strange experiences going on. Bit Bermuda Triangle-y maybe. But we always presume that time is sort of linear and sequential. We don't know that. We really don't know that. We do know that we live in a multi-dimensional universe, and we're just in one of them. Are these dimensions crashing into each other occasionally? Paying each other a visit? I think that sort of thing's probably quite likely. And there's also stone tape theory, although I don't think there's actually a lot of proof behind that one. And there's also a myriad of mental conditions, let's face it, you know. So ghosts do exist. They exist in ways that we don't understand, that's all. I don't believe that they're the spirits of the dead. I do believe in spirits, just not like that, you know. Right, well, happy Halloween. I'm going to go and drink because I finished work not very long ago. I hope you enjoy the rest of Mike's Halloween special. Take care, I'll see you all later.
Nice one, Jim. Cheers. That was excellent. I'm a bit like you, actually. I think there's a lot of sort of things that we can't sort of detect properly, if that makes sense, on a more sort of scientific sort of way of it. Like you said, definitely more like that in my opinion. But yeah, and I do believe I've never seen anything paranormal in my opinion. Some people would say I have, in their opinion I have, but I don't think it is. But if someone says to me they've seen a ghost, I do believe they have seen something. I do believe that. I don't know what they've seen, but I do believe 100% they believe they've seen a ghost or whatever, you know what I mean? So, yeah. It's an interesting topic, really, when you start looking into it in different ways, especially in a bit of a scientific way. It can be very fascinating, in all honesty. So, yeah, that could definitely open up some topics of discussion anyway. So, I think what I'm going to do now is whack another ad on, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Enjoy. Welcome to the Weapon Collector shopping channel. The only place you'll find all Weapon Collector's merchandise. Mugs, banners, t-shirts, glasses, and lots more. All found on Weapon Collector shopping channel. Now that is some good coffee. But that is actually the cheapest coffee you can buy. As soon as you put it in a Weapon Collector mug, this is gourmet shit basically. It's essentially the cheapest you can buy. Anything you put in a Weapon Collector mug will just be transformed to the ultimate drink. But that is just beautiful. Don't forget your pint glasses. Cheers. Just look at that. You'd think that was straight out of a pub. Nothing says refreshing pints like a Weapon Collector pint glass. And don't forget the t-shirts. And there also isn't just t-shirts. There is literally all kinds of clothing you can buy in the Weapon Collector range. Different designs as well. You can get the knuckle design, you can get the thumbs up merch. I'll drink a bit more of this while I'm here. And much, much more. We've even got Christmas clothes if you want it. Don't forget your banners while you're there. We all love the Weapon Collector weapon boards. Now you can own your own in your own home. No worries about any issues with police or locking your guns up. Can't take these away. You've heard me talking about the merch, but if you don't believe me, listen to these happy customers.
This is the best mug I ever bought, and I have thousands of them.
Go anywhere in a Weapon Collector t-shirt.
Look what I got. Weapon Collector. I'm sure you all know him. If you don't, I don't know what you're doing. Good job, Mike. Really good. I'm really impressed.
Hey, get yourself a mug today.
That's right, motherfucker. Weapon Collector merchandise. I joined the bandwagon.
Everybody loves a bit of bottom.
Even Bali Song knives are better with Weapon Collector merch.
So there you go. Weapon Collector merchandise. Link is in the description. Just go to the website as shown on the screen. Cheers. Right, if you don't buy my bloody merch after that, you're never gonna fucking buy it. Fuck's sake. I'm gonna use that ad on other live streams now, definitely. I think that's my fucking masterpiece of advertising. Right, so that's still working out. I actually love that ad. Sorry to anyone, especially Electro, that I had to change your voice, but you weren't talking about the merch, so I had to change your voice. Yeah, I love it. Right, so, where was I? Brighthole. Here's Brighthole's story. I'll see you when it finishes.
Oh, hello. I haven't noticed you. Hello. My name is Brother Bartosz, and today I will tell you a ghost story. But not a normal ghost story. It's going to be a ghost story based on Slavic mythology. It's a very old Polish tradition of so-called dziady. Dziady is some kind of a festival that originated back in the early, like 100 to 200 AC. So, what is it all about? It's a festival very similar to All Saints' Day and Halloween, and it took place at around the same time as like now, October, November. And what is it all about? So, Polish people and all Slavic people believed that at that one day, one night, the dead people, the dead souls, came back from the afterlife to meet with the people living on Earth. They could ask them for a gift. They would ask them for the advice or for anything that would help them in the afterlife. So, this story was written down by a famous Polish writer, Adam Mickiewicz. This is one of the most popular Polish dramas. So, the main person here is Guślarz. Guślarz is some kind of a person that in the old Slavic times would help with the organization of all these religious festivals. He was like some kind of Kaplan, cleric. He was some kind of that person. So Slavs believed that the only way to summon a certain type of ghost. There are 3 types of ghosts. I'll tell about that later. They believed that you had to burn something. Like, they did it with a big fire that was on a coffin. So, the story starts like this. So, Guślarz called all the people living in a small village in Poland, Latvia, somewhere there. And he asked them to come to an old destroyed church, to an old destroyed temple. And he ordered a choir to start singing. There's a very popular phrase from this drama. Ciemno wszędzie, głucho wszędzie, co to będzie, co to będzie. Which roughly translates to everywhere it's dark, everywhere it's quiet, we don't know what will happen. So, on the coffin, he started the fire. First thing that he burned was a piece of cotton. The cotton was meant to summon light ghosts. Light ghosts? Well, these ghosts that didn't get to heaven or hell. For Slavs there was actually no hell. There was only heaven. So, there were the ghosts that didn't get to heaven, but they weren't bad people. They just didn't do much good and much bad. They're people who weren't really bad people. But they weren't good either. So, he burned a piece of cotton. Now, 2 first ghosts appeared. There's a boy, Różo, and a girl, Józia. They were small children. They were like 2-3 years old. So, they told Guślarz the story about their life. The only thing, they were happy. They were just happy people. Just happy kids, having fun their whole lives. The only chores that they have was picking up flowers for other people. They were always having fun, but suddenly they died. Nobody knew why they died. And as they said, one that haven't felt bitter in the earth, on the earth, then one wouldn't feel sweet in the afterlife. So they asked Guslash for help. Guslash offered them first sweets, candies, honey, sugar, to make them feel better. But the children said that they don't want it. They want a piece of garlic, just to feel the bitter, to as the equivalent of feeling bad in the earth life, so they could go to heaven, because they didn't do anything bad. So these were the first ghosts that appeared in the Jadi poem. Then the second ghost appeared. This is a medium ghost. This ghost was medium ghosts for the Slavs were meant to do bad stuff in life, but it wasn't like murdering, stealing. They were bad people, but they weren't really destroyed morally. So it was a girl, Zofia. She was like a simple farmer, but she was really selfish. She didn't care really about anyone else other than her. She was always with her head in the clouds, and one of the biggest faults that Mickiewicz mentioned was that when a young man confessed to her, she rejected him. So so she was a bad person, very selfish, and really that's why she couldn't go to heaven. She asked Guslash for help to pull her down to the ground, so that she wouldn't always be so high up, so that she would be able to touch the ground to contact with the reality and go to heaven. Sadly, the people weren't able to help her, and she stayed as a ghost. So now, the last ghost, a heavy ghost. Heavy ghosts were summoned by burning vodka, burning alcohol. So, Gustav burned alcohol. Then they saw movement behind the windows of the castle church. It was a menace, a Vidmo of a bad man, as he is described. He was an aristocrat he was a very bad person. Heavy ghost. He was a heavy ghost Vidmo, as it was described by Mickiewicz. So, heavy ghosts, they were sinners who did very bad people. They were very bad people. They did awful things into life, and they didn't absolutely deserve heaven. So like light ghosts and medium ghosts could go to heaven if the people during Jadi had them. But heavy ghosts weren't, even if the people wanted to help them, they wouldn't go to heaven because they were too bad. So, what did the bad man do? He was the owner of the land where many people lived. He was the owner of the village that the whole drama is taking place at. So, he did many awful things. He was a bad ruler. He was a bad aristocrat. He killed people for minor things like stealing apples. He didn't let a mother and her child he didn't let them in during a snowstorm, so they froze to death. he was a very bad person. He had countless souls. He killed countless people. So that's why a bunch of birds were surrounding him. So who are the birds? They were the people that he killed. They got a chance of revenge. So they stole his food, they stole his water, they did everything for him to feel the pain, the agony that they felt because of him. These birds, well, the people that he killed. That's why they wouldn't let him live peacefully on the earth as a ghost. Because, well, as I said, Slavs didn't believe in hell. They thought if you didn't deserve heaven, you would live on earth, but as a ghost. So, the bad man, he confessed everything. He told the people everything that he has done. He told them how he killed people. He told him how he was just a bad person. He really felt that he didn't do well on earth, but he also said that he knows he doesn't deserve heaven, and that he doesn't really need anything from the people at the Jedi Festive. He flew away. He disappeared from the sight of people at the Jedi Festive. Guslash ended the whole festive. He told people to go back to their homes, and that's how it ended. So, I hope you enjoyed the story. It was really scary, but there were ghosts, and you could learn something new about the old Slavic beliefs. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time, and bye.
Thank you, Brighter. I appreciate that. That was good. That was a good bit of history. I enjoyed that, actually, yeah. It was new to me, and I bet that's new to pretty much most of the viewers. So, yeah, thank you for that, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, fascinating. It is, because we're all, you're not that far away from the UK, but, well, even in the UK, from south to north, it would be different. But, yeah, you know what I mean. It's surprising. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that, mate. So, I think we will go to Weapons and Stuff 93 now. So, here is Liam's video.
Right, so this is going to be a video for Mike's sort of scary story Halloween video thing. Now, this is a real story, but I don't know what the cause of it is, and I think I've mentioned it before, but not for one of Mike's videos, so I'll do it again. So, this was something that happened to me when I was in primary school, and one of my mates saw it as well, and to this day we don't know what it was. I don't know, I'm not claiming it's a ghost, it might not be anything supernatural at all, maybe it was some sort of optical illusion, but it's quite interesting and weird. So, where my primary school was, there were bits you were allowed to go in as kids, like when you're on, playtime, whatever they called it, like your lunch break, playtime sort of thing, morning break. And there were obviously, like, bits you weren't allowed to go, like there were sort of playground bits and they're off limits. So they had, like, a big fence around the outside of the school, but on the school grounds there were still bits you weren't meant to go, just because I guess kids could get lost or hurt there or whatever and stuff like that. And one of the more interesting bits, and I've never been in there, was they had a really old-fashioned house just sitting on the school grounds, and I think back in the day, going back 50, 100 years ago, that was where they had like a caretaker sort of house, where with a lot of these older sort of schools, they would have, like a house built for a living sort of caretaker. So, they'd live there and then they'd go out, the modern caretaker didn't live there at all, obviously they just commuted in you know, did the sort of caretaking sort of stuff, you know, janitor type job, and then they'd leave. But, you know, back when this school was made, this is where they'd obviously have like a live-in person that lived in this house, you know, got up in the morning, did all the odd jobs, and then probably went back to that house to sleep and have dinner and all that sort of stuff. So, where this house was, apologies, coughing a bit, you weren't allowed to go, and there was sort of a road there as well, because where the school grounds were, there were a couple of roads, as you know, although you wouldn't really get cars coming in, there were now and again would be, so, you know, you weren't allowed there, but it's mainly just so, you know, the kids stayed on the playground where they could be supervised, and I guess if pedos were coming in, they'd be spotted. So, nobody lived in this house. The school used it, I think, for storage, you know, because it was not needed anymore. So I think just, like, loads of old, like, spare whiteboards and all things like that were stored in it, you know, so it was just basically an empty house that was in fairly good condition. I guess if they wanted to, they could clear all the junk out and rent it out, but it was just used for storage. So, quite an old-fashioned house. So, you could look at it, but you couldn't go to it when you're, like, on break or whatever. And one of the days, me and one of my mates were, like, bored, you know, while on break, because we didn't have much to do, and we were looking out over there at the drive, you know, because there was, like, a drive coming in, and the house was off the side of the drive. And we thought we saw movement in one of the windows. We were looking up at one of the windows. Bear in mind, these, like, old, dusty, dirt-caked windows. You can't see through them very well, because, again, they hadn't cleaned them in ages, because it wasn't used as an actual house. And then we both thought we saw, like, a really creepy kind of yellow ogreish face come up to the window, like, look out, and then duck back. I don't think there was curtains, but, you know, you saw the movement and you... So, it was a sort of yellow face you'd get only as a person, I imagine, if you'd been, you know, drinking constantly and got liver damage. You know, that kind of... You've gone yellow, like jaundicey kind of yellow. But... You know, whether or not there was an actual person there, you know, we both thought we saw the same thing. We don't know. There's no more to the story than that. You know, we were there, we saw this sort of yellow, creepy, bogey sort of face turn up at the window, you know, look out, and then go back into the darkness. That's all there is to it. But again, house was locked up, and, you know, nobody was meant to be in there. Was there some alcoholic tramp that had found his way in there and, you know, was squatting in there? Who knows? You know, nothing else like that ever happened there. You know, never any signs of, like, forced entry or whatever else. And bear in mind, we were probably, like, 8 years old at the time. But I just thought it was quite creepy, and we can always remember it. You know, and this person as well saw the same thing. He said, "Did you see a face in that window?" And, you know, we both sort of said the same thing at once. So, yeah. That's my creepy story. You know, it's a bit of a weird one. But who was the strange, sort of yellow, erotic man in the window that just turned up to peer out and then, you know, disappear back into the darkness? Like something out of an old ham horror film. No idea, but, you know, we both thought we saw it. You know, and like I said, there could be a completely logical explanation that has nothing to do with ghosts, but it was weird, and I always remember it, you know, despite the fact that it was probably now 20-something years ago compared to how old I am now. Probably over that, so yeah. It's just one of those things I can remember from primary school quite well, along with breaking my arm and a load of other things, so there you go. What it was, I don't know, but it's probably quite suitable for this video, and I've explained it a lot more in depth than I did on the other video I mentioned in there at some point.
Cheers for that, Liam. Appreciate that. You know what? I hadn't heard that one from you before, I don't think, or I must have missed the video originally. So yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, fascinating, as you say, because 2 people have seen it. So that's, you know, that's more evidence than just, you know, it can't just be you seeing it. But you did remind me of. Weirdly enough, the secondary school I went to had a similar building like that, but it was used by the sixth formers. But in turn, that reminded me of... Now, this isn't a paranormal story per se, but it's related to it. In my, I think it was middle school, some of the naughty kids, which was me, Mark, 2 other boys, used to have separate lessons in this weird part of the school where you never went unless you were doing these weird things like that. And we would have these sort of 4-to-1 lessons, you know, one teacher, just 4 kids, like the naughty kids. And but above that room, so if you came out of that room, there was a set of stairs leading up to this other room. And someone told me that that room up there was haunted. From the moment someone told me that, those stairs were terrifying. And just looking up those stairs, and it seemed to have that weird eerie feeling. Now I think a lot of people have found out that it's to do with vibrations and stuff like that, isn't it? There are places that really have horrible feelings, and that did. just standing in that hallway, looking up those stairs. It was only a little hallway. It's horrible. I don't know. I'll always remember that, looking up those stairs. I never saw anything, but you wouldn't never have made me walk up them stairs. Fucking ever. I tell you, it was horrible. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, seeing as you reminded me about it. So let's now go on to Steve Wood's video. Steve joined in the last, I think he said shooting competition, Halloween video. And this is a similar one where it's pictures and I will read out the information for it. So here we go to Steve's info and video and pictures. See you in a minute. So this is Weapon Collector doing the voiceover for Steve Wood's video. This video will consist of myself reading out the info that Steve sent me and showing you the images that he sent. So these images are from the Octagon Hall in Franklin, Kentucky. The first three are the building and the grounds, which is what you'll see next. The Octagon Hall is an antebellum house that the owner was a Confederate sympathizer in the US Civil War. Antebellum, if you didn't know, as far as I'm aware, just means before the war. He said his wife took the fourth picture from the second floor, and the fifth photo circles what she captured, and the sixth is highlighted. They appear to be a little girl and her sister, or another behind her, wearing similar dresses. We were the only people on the property during most of the investigation. Steve says, later that night I caught this in the slave cemetery. Also at the slave cemetery there are 2 Confederate soldiers buried there. In the past we had gotten some SLS camera footage on the grave markers for them, but didn't get much this time on the markers. There was a tree, however, next to the markers where a figure was captured in it, to be just limp and hanging there. I moved over to see if I could determine how high up the tree it was. When we got directly under it, I was told that it looked like it was trying to stand on my shoulders. When I moved away, it just went limp again. Also, that night, some of us had pitched tents. I went to my van to get my tablet to listen to something, and then went to the tent. The area I walked through was a wide open field about 50 yards long and wide, with nothing between the van and my tent. At daybreak I woke, and fixed myself a cup of coffee and decided to go back to the van to get my jacket. I couldn't find my keys and assumed that I'd locked them in the van or something, or dropped them on the way to the tent. I looked and couldn't find them, and called someone to come and unlock my van for me. In the meantime, I continued to look along the path I had walked along the night before. When the van was unlocked, my keys were not in there. I took everything out of the van, including the seats, and they were just not there. The entire team, 9 of us, looked everywhere in the field, and later that day 2 people came up there with metal detectors and swept the entire field and came up empty. My niece's boyfriend bought me a spare set of keys for next night. After I had gotten home, I called the owner of the Octagon Hall and asked if he had found my keys, and I was told that there are lots of people's keys have been coming up missing lately. I still don't have them. This is also from Octagon Hall. You'll see a shadow move in the trees in the upper left of the frame. This is the only time this had happened over the course of 32 hours. Also at the Octagon Hall, you'll see the usual bugs reflected in the IR lights, and you'll see the area brighten up a bit as my niece's boyfriend was turning around at the same time. At the same time, something comes flying past really fast. I don't know what it is, but it is surely unusual. Steve said, also at the Octagon Hall, my wife was the only one up, and she had gotten into something that stirred up her allergies. She thought she had heard something and went outside to see, and her phone recorded this.
Out here.
You'll hear her say, "Who's out there?" And the response is crystal clear.
Out here.
This is one from my own house. I made an SLS camera with a Xbox 360 Connect. Battery power supplies the laptop seen in the picture, and the software downloaded. My nephew came over and saw the Connect and got all excited that I had a game console. I told him that I had the Connect and what I had done with it. I turned it on to show him, and the Connect mapped me, and after a few seconds mapped a figure in the chair behind me. I reached over and the figure in the chair reached up and took my hand. The chair was my grandfather's chair that he sat in. You can make out the stick figure taking my hand to the right. Cheers for that, Steve. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Now, if there was ever going to be some kind of haunted area, that would be it. Similar to sort of UK battlefields and sort of castles and that, where you know quite a few people would have died. Yeah, you're talking about it there. Yeah, fascinating. Really. That voice, you can plainly hear that. That is creepy as fuck, really. Yeah, I must admit, you've found some very interesting things down, like very horrible, sort of creepy things. But yeah, certainly interesting. Certainly, yeah, well suited for the Halloween video. But yeah, thank you for that, Matt. Appreciate that. So I think what we'll do now is I am going to put one more ad on, and then I'll come back, and then we'll whack another video on.
Good day, mate. Get yourself a Weapon Collector pint glass today, only £11 and 16 pence. You'd be a fool not to. Only the highest quality sand goes into making these glasses. Are you right-handed? Or left-handed? Maybe you only have feet? You can hold this glass any way you like. Hold it with your cock, if you're that way inclined. Get in quickly, this pint glass has already sold 10,000 units in Australia alone. You've seen how much Weapon Collector likes his drink, now check out his mate Jim, he's real hardcore.
After a hard day's graft, nothing quite relaxes me. Like a nice cold pint of vodka. God dear. So don't be an arse. Get a Weapon Collector glass.
Get your pint glasses in. He was all cleaning it for the video. I'm a disgrace, aren't I? What do you think of my ads? I quite like them. Adds a bit of comedy to the proceedings. But yes, get your bloody merchandise in. Link is in the description. So we're going to go over to Z Not Z's in a minute, and I'll say both of me and Zed have put a lot of work into this. I certainly reckon Zed did, because this is actually a horror story written by Zed. He wrote it himself. Yeah, really good story, and I've put a lot of effort into doing it justice for a video, because obviously I had to read it out, and I wouldn't say I'm the best at reading things out, but I've tried to do my best for the video, and I've tried to do a video that gives you a little visuals of what's going on, but that's it. You can still use your imagination. So it's not a video as in a video, but when it's describing something, I may show some pictures of that just to do a bit of, you know, atmosphere for you. So I hope you enjoy it, because I'm pretty sure that took me about 6 hours to edit and create the video, and I bet it took Zed longer than that to write it, I'd assume. I don't know, but I think you will enjoy this, because I genuinely thought it was excellent. So here is Zed Not Z's story. Lilybeth Blave lay in bed smiling as she regarded the wardrobe with pleasure. It was a large oak wardrobe with an abundance of strange-looking designs carved on its front, one piece of which was a grotesque face which somewhat resembled a more sardonic, wicked-looking Mr. Punch, which was probably why no one had bid on it, and she'd got it so cheaply. The auction catalogue had stated it was from the early 18th century. It certainly looked that old, with its wood darkened by time almost to black, and it was sturdily built as well, and very heavy. It had taken 4 men from the auction house to get it up the stairs to her bedroom. One of them made the old joke, and not at all funny in Lilibeth's opinion. "Have you got a body hidden in this or something?" Lilibeth had smiled politely and replied, "2 actually," to which the men laughed heartily. Lilibeth wondered if they'd laugh quite so much if the doors had swung open and 2 bodies had fallen out. She doubted it. As she looked at it, though, she had to admit that if you were of a more nervous temperament than she was, the face might look sort of creepy, almost demonic in fact. However, Lilibeth was not of a nervous temperament, and as far as she was concerned, the face just added character to the thing. Still smiling, Lilibeth glanced at her alarm clock. It was very nearly midnight. Time to get some sleep before going to work tomorrow. Not that she needed the money, of course, being what the newspapers would call independently wealthy. Her family's fortune had certainly increased over the years, she had to admit. But working in the small shop that sold pewter, gopher, metal jewellery that she co-owned with her friend Mary Stoker gave her something to do in the days. Which was not her friend's real name, of course. That was Brenda Smith, but Mary Stoker went down better in the goth crowd, and Brenda Smith was hardly rock and roll. As she leaned over to turn off her bedside lamp, she noticed that she could faintly see her breath in the light. That sodding thermostat switched itself off again, she muttered to herself. As it was mid-January, and the nights were more than a bit chilly, she was less than pleased. Getting out of bed, she grabbed her dressing gown and headed towards the bedroom door, intending to go downstairs to switch the thermostat back on. She'd got her dressing gown on over one arm, and just as she started to open the door, it suddenly wrenched itself out of her hand and slammed shut. Startled, Lilibeth jumped back, and staring at the door, let her dressing gown fall from her arm to the floor. "What the fuck?" she murmured, and reaching out, tentatively gripped the door handle, turned it and pulled. It wouldn't budge. Temperature in the room was dropping quickly, and Lilibeth was starting to get the creeps. Then she got them well and truly, as from behind her she heard something take in a deep breath, and then let it out suddenly. Turning quickly, she saw the wardrobe seem to inflate as it took another deep breath, and deflate as it let it out. Then, as if from some great distance, she heard a voice. It wasn't a nice voice. It didn't sound normal at all. It sounded like something from Bad Ventriloquist Dummy. Lilibeth didn't like the sound of it one bit. She even more disliked what it was saying. "Lilibeth," it croaked. "I'm coming for you, Lilibeth. I'm going to have some fun with you, Lilibeth." Then it laughed, a horrible, cackling sort of laugh. "I won't be long, Lilibeth. I'll soon be with you. Then the fun will start." Then it laughed again, and the wardrobe continued its deep breathing. Lilibeth stood frozen in horror. She had a vision of something slimy, huge and bloated with tentacles. Loads of tentacles. Lilibeth had a thing about tentacles. As a child she'd watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and the giant octopus bit had terrified her. Then a couple of years ago she had gone diving in the Mediterranean, and moving aside a rock, just to see what was under it, had disturbed an octopus. It wasn't what you could call a big octopus, but it had wrapped its tentacles around her hand and wouldn't let go. All her childhood fears came back to her, headed upwards in a panic. It wasn't until she'd almost reached the surface that the octopus, probably panicking as well, finally let go. "Not tentacles," Lilibeth murmured. "Please don't be tentacles." Moving to the window, Lilibeth discovered that like the door it wouldn't move. "Thought so," she muttered. Then the voice came again. "I'm nearly there, Lilibeth. Only 1 minute or 2, then the fun will start." Sighing at the inevitable, Lily prepared herself to fight. Several minutes went by, Lilibeth standing in front of the wardrobe, fingers curled in claws and her teeth bared, ready to fight. Then the breathing stopped and the door slowly began to open. As they opened fully, a figure stepped out. It looked like a scarecrow dressed in tattered, stained clothing, with a face like the one carved on the wardrobe, only its face had glowing green eyes that glittered malevolently. "Hello, Lilibeth," the creature said, smiling wickedly. "I'm here." Its eyes widening and his voice trailing off, and Lilibeth leaped at him. He had time for one scream of horror before Lilibeth's teeth sliced into his throat. Desperately he tried to fight her off, flailing at her with his hands and kicking at her legs, but to no effect. In fact, it seemed that she didn't even feel the blows. Meanwhile, Lilibeth continued her attack, releasing his throat and sinking her teeth into his shoulder, ripping out a large chunk of flesh, all the while clawing at him with her hands, tearing long strips of flesh from his body. Black blood streamed from his wounds, and he began to weaken. Soon it was over and he collapsed to the floor, twitched violently, then died, his ruined throat letting out the last bubbling gurgle, then went still. For a few seconds Lilibeth didn't realise she had won, and continued biting and clawing at the unmoving body. Then she realised the thing was dead, and stood up, spat out a goblet of vile-tasting flesh, and looked down at the pile of torn flesh and blood-soaked rags, half in and half out of the wardrobe. Thank fuck it didn't have tentacles, she murmured. I can't stand tentacles. She shuddered at the thought, and that carpet would never be clean again. Then she gave a short sniff of annoyance. I think him screaming like that was a bit much though, she thought. Then she caught sight of herself in the full-length mirror, hanging on the wall beside the wardrobe. Well, okay, she admitted. Perhaps a werewolf in a pink nightie isn't the best of looks, but even so, there's no need to scream like that. She gave the pile another kick for good measure, and walked to the door. This time it opened easily, and she noticed that the house was beginning to warm up again. As she changed back into human form, she took off her now rather messy nightie and walked to the bathroom. I'll clear that up tomorrow, she muttered, and order a new carpet. As she stepped into the shower and turned it on, a thought occurred to her. Maybe a black one this time. If this story has a moral to it, it would be this. If you are something that likes to hide in wardrobes, or under the bed for that matter, and prey on people, it might be a good idea to find out exactly what sort of people you're intending to prey on before you come out of your hiding place. What did you think of that then? I'll tell you what, I genuinely thought that was excellent. I thought that was bloody brilliant, the story. As I say, I've tried to do justice to it by reading it out. Yeah, I genuinely, Zed, I've told you this in an email, and I thought that was an excellent story, and I did not see, the twist coming. So yeah, you hopefully when we do this again, you can do that again. Do us another story if you want. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you, mate. Really, really like that. It was excellent. Yeah. And there was a little clue as well. Zed told me that the name at the beginning, the surname, Lilibeth Blave, I think is Welsh. It's written as like Blad, but pronounced Blave, means wolf. He told me that. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you, Zed. So we're coming up to Jim live. I've been messaging him privately, telling him when to get ready, and he is just about ready, so I'll just wait. Yeah, Jim will be coming on live, and yeah, I'll pass over to him when he's ready. He'll be able to, he can't see the chat, but he can see me. So not me, but I'll be able to talk to him, type to him, if that makes sense. So there may be a bit of back and forward just at the beginning between me and him, just to make sure it's all working right, and then he'll get straight into it. Yeah, I think this will be generally excellent, because I've never done anything like this. We've obviously had people sort of come on live on StreamYard things before, but never anything like this, where they've actually been out doing something. So, yeah. Right, let me just get my phone. Right, that looks like he's ready. So, here is Jim M.
Hello Mike, have you got me? I can see you, have you got me? Nice one, nice one. I think we might have a bit of a delay though. Yeah, there's definitely a delay. I've never done this before, we'll just see how it goes, eh? We'll just do our best, it'll be something a bit different, won't it? Yeah, I've come to Clop Hill. Clophill Church, St Mary's, in Bedfordshire. I did a video here once before, do you remember? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the Satanic Church. The Satanic Church. I even myself in that video sort of ended up saying that, you know, it all seems to have been silly people messing about decades ago. But apparently it's still going on. They've just moved down the hill a bit. Yeah, it was in the local papers just recently. Well, yeah. I've just come to have a look. I don't know if it's true or not. It might just be more in the way of rumours like it was decades ago. But apparently these Satanists have moved into the woods here. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. I am pretty nervous. But I'm just gonna lay low. I'm gonna keep it quiet. And we'll well, just advance across the hill and see if I find anything, you know, any evidence, anything left laying around. Yeah, I'll be well careful, mate. I've got my stick with me. Yep. Okay. Sorry, Mike. I lost you for a second there. Anyway, let's shall we press on? Let's have a look. I think as I proceed, I probably should be keeping it down a little bit. I'm not expecting to see any people. Do you know what I mean? I'm just looking for a bit of evidence of what might have been going on. Would you be out here doing this, Mike? Do you reckon? Would you be bold enough? I'm not quite sure which way to go, you know. I don't want to get lost. I'm just going to stick to this. It looks like a pathway, doesn't it, you know? I think I've been scaring the birds out of the trees. I don't like it, Mike. I'll tell you, I don't like this one bit. No, I'm not going back, mate. No, I'm out here now. I promised you I'd do this for you. So, right, let's go. I'm being a bit loud, and I don't want anybody to hear me. Keep it down a bit. Oh, fucking hell, I tell you what. Fucking leaves don't half sound like voices sometimes. Shit, it does sound like voices behind me. I know it's just the wind. Fuck. Hang on. I'm going to turn my torch off for a minute. Wait a sec. That's better. Oh shit. No, I'm turning my torch back off. I fucking heard twigs snapping as well as voices. Oh shit, I can't turn my torch on. I can't see a fucking thing, mate. Mike, why did I do this? Shit, I cannot see a fucking thing. Oh, fuck. I've got my stick. Oh, shit. I don't even know which fucking way I came in. Oh, bollocks. Right, I'm gonna sit down and be fucking quiet for a minute. Talk to me, Mike. Quietly, talk to me. I'm shitting it. Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, shit. Fuck. No, it's right, I just tripped. I can't move anywhere. I daren't turn my torch on. I need to just sit and wait until I can't hear fucking voices and twigs snapping before I can move on. I've got to start walking. I daren't turn my torch on. I just need to feel my way through. I'm bottling out, Mike. I'm bottling out. I've changed my mind. Sorry, mate. I've got to go. I can't do it. It's... No. Fuck. Oh, shit. What the fuck is that?
Oh, fucking hell. I hope Jim's alright. Because that was not planned, by the way. I don't... You know what I mean? But I know that could have been fake, but that sort of looked real to me. It seemed real. So, yeah. Fucking hell. I may have to ring him up in a second, just to see. Because, yeah, I don't want anyone getting hurt for my Halloween live stream, you know what I mean? So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the next video, and while that's playing, I'm going to ring Jim up, just to make sure he's alright. So, here's the next video. Sorry if I haven't spoke about his, and, you know, depending on what happens now, if I speak about the next ones. Alright? I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to ring him up, see what's happened.
Hey everybody, Statical Pirate here, doing a quick video for my Weapon Collector's Halloween special. So, as you saw in the last one, I've had a few weird things happen in this house over the years, but here's a couple you haven't heard before. So, I was sitting on my PC one night, just messing around, you know, watching YouTube and stuff, and it was near the cupboard next to the stairs, and all of a sudden I just heard this really loud animal growl. I mean, seriously, it was just, what the hell? And my head just turned very slowly to the left, looked at the cupboard door, nothing moved, nothing. I just looked up and I thought, did I hear what I just hear? And I thought, nah, I couldn't have. So I just carried on what I was doing. Never heard anything again that night, but never forgot that. Don't know how to describe it, it was weird. Another one, not in the house, but me and my two cousins were having a walk in this local cemetery one night, and all of a sudden we spotted this red light in the distance, and it was weird. It was like a glowing ball, like ball of lightning or something, you know, and it slowly started coming towards us, but it was in like a swinging motion, you know, like as if somebody was carrying an old-fashioned lamp, you know. It just kept going up, like a wave down, kept coming towards me, and it sort of like had a trail off it, a bit like a comet type of thing. Well, I just looked at me two cousins and I went, fuck that, and I legged it. I mean, I really legged it. Got to the gate and found the gate was padlocked shut, and we'd only been in about 2 minutes and hadn't, you know. So I went back to them and the light was and still in the distance, you know, but it had stopped. And when we went out, I just looked at them. I said, "Did we see what we saw?" And they both went, "Yeah, we all saw that." So to this day, I still don't know what that is. You know, it's completely weird. So anyway, I just thought I'd do this short piece to a quick video I had a walk with. So happy Halloween, anybody, and all the best.
Right, so I've been ringing him up and I can't get through to him. But while I was ringing him up, I got a weird phone call. Couldn't really tell what was going on. So I ain't someone who's got his phone. You know what I mean? Because that's, you know, I hope they can't track me or anything. Fucking hell. Yeah. Very, very strange. I'm getting phone calls now, and Jim's not answering, and it's not his number ringing. But I've been ringing his phone, so yeah, fuck knows. I hope he's alright. I'm gonna keep trying. I'll keep trying, see what happens. Yeah, he should be alright. Well, I don't know, I say that, I don't fucking know. But yes, I'll get hold of you in the chat. I'll play another video. I'll be back soon. This one might be a bit longer, this one. Alright, because I'm going to try and see what's going on. Because I'm getting weird phone calls now and I want to know who the fuck it is. Alright? See you in a bit.
Hello? Anybody there?
Yeah, that is old. Don't know what year it is though. Oh yeah, look, it's going on.
The 70s when I was around, it was. 70s,
Watch down there.
The radio, isn't it?
Surely somebody can do that, restore that.
Yeah, they will.
This is one old building. Yeah, even got the sink falling through. Nah, there's probably no way through because I'm struggling to get up here. Yeah, because there's an old table there. Is there any spirits here? Make the K2 light up. If that is a spirit, make it do it again. My K2 just went off and my light's flashing. Look, my light's flashing. Does anyone want to communicate? Make the REM pod go off. Is there any spirits? Communicate through the spirit box. Do something. Just had a ghost all go past. If that's spirit, do it again. Come on, come forward and speak. Thanks. Do you want to come forward and speak? Hello to you. What's your name? Repeat that again. Do you want me to leave? Yeah. Knock something off the side if you want me to leave. If that was you, do it again. Come on. Come forward and speak. Hello to you. Instead of saying hello, come and talk. Do you used to own this house? Do you want to talk? Is it you making a REM pod go off? You gonna come and communicate or what? Right, I'm gonna go into the next room and try there. Does anyone in this room want to communicate? Make yourself known. Did you just say and? What does it say warning? Make the K2 go off. Say again. Repeat that again. Is this house haunted? Didn't quite understand that. Yeah, yes to what? Where's it going on? Make the REM pod go off again. Do you want us to leave? Make something happen. Do you want us to leave? Was that the spirit who just threw the vase thing off the side? Do you want to communicate, or should we just go? Can't believe the light's moving. Do it again. Well, that's it for tonight. This is the house we found on the way home.
Right, this shit's getting even weirder now. Someone's just been knocking on my door. I didn't answer it. I think they pissed off in the end. But this is what my fucking CCTV just showed. This is weird as fuck. Let me just get onto my CCTV on my phone. Don't know how well you're going to see that. But that is some weird fucker stood outside my door while that video was playing. Right, they've probably come to the wrong fucking house anyway if they have. So yeah, I don't know if they're still there. Right, someone's banging on the fucking door now. Right, hang on a minute. Well, that's weird, there was no one there. Oh, fucking hell. Right, that sounds like someone's trying to get in my house. Right. I don't know if I should do this or not. But fucking hell, fuck it. They'll get a fucking surprise, I'll tell you that, if they come in here. Got the bastard. Didn't even know what to say. Not moving now though. I better end that there, I think. I don't know what to say. Hopefully there ain't more of them. I've still got 4 shots in my magazine if I need. Alright, I better stop there because I don't know what's going on now. I don't know if I'm going to have to call the police. You know, they're probably looking for Jim as well anyway. See you later.
Don't wanna go into the night. The temperature's falling, freezing our senses with fright. The creatures are crawling into our minds, there's no light. Everybody is stalling, nobody wants to be stories bite. Here are something come with it, it don't look right to me. Better get out of here pretty quick if you like. Hey, don't expect me to hang around, I'm no hero, but you can stay if you like. You love to fight.